Just when it seemed things couldn't get any worse for Kash Patel, his performance in the House took another dive. Facing tough questions from Jamie Raskin, Eric Swallwell, and Thomas Massie, Patel struggled and quickly unraveled under pressure. In the process, he not only embarrassed himself, but also drew renewed attention to the ongoing controversy surrounding Donald Trump and the Epstein documents when he failed to provide clear answers. It was a complete breakdown, and we're going to unpack it all. But before we dive in, I'd like to ask you to take a moment to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps support our work and keeps us bringing you the coverage that matters. Now, let's begin with Jamie Raskin's sharp opening remarks as he directly called out Kash Patel.
Victims betraying all of the survivors of the sexual violence. Before you got in this job, you called for full release of the Epstein files, telling podcaster Benny Johnson that the only reason the list was not released by DOJ and FBI was, quote, because of who's on that list. Upon your confirmation, you promised that, quote, there will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, no stone left unturned. And anyone from the prior or current Bureau who undermines this will be swiftly pursued. This spring, you ordered hundreds of agents to pore over all the Epstein files, but not to look for more clues about the money network or the network of human traffickers. You pulled these agents from their regular counterterrorism or drug trafficking duties to work around the clock, some of them sleeping at their desks, to conduct a frantic search to make sure Donald Trump's name and image were flagged and redacted wherever they appeared, whether an email, a text, a letter, an interview, a photograph, or a video. In May, Attorney General Bondi reportedly told Trump that his name had indeed appeared multiple times throughout the Epstein files. And not long thereafter, in July, you and the Attorney General released a memo claiming that, quote, no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. In a few short months, how did you go from being a crusader for accountability and transparency for the Epstein files to being a part of the conspiracy and cover-up? The answer is simple. You said it yourself, because of who's on that list. Donald Trump's relationship with Epstein over the years is well documented. A week ago, the Oversight Committee released Trump's disturbing birthday book, Note to Epstein, written over a drawing of a woman's naked body, referring to a, quote, wonderful secret. The Oversight Committee obtained the note from the Epstein estate, not from the FBI, raising questions again of whether the FBI has been withholding documents. While you're unleashing the FBI to cater to Trump's desire to shut down the Epstein inquiry, the first 9 months of the Trump presidency have seen a spate of political violence and domestic terror events. We saw
These issues aren't directly connected, but here's the reality. MAGA is demanding that we care about Charlie Kirk while showing little to no concern for victims of school shootings, for the countless lives lost to gun violence, or even for survivors who bravely came forward about the abuse they endured under Jeffrey Epstein. Instead, they send Kash Patel out to downplay it, to act like this is all just a performance, some kind of political theater. How can anyone be expected to take that seriously when they've never cared in the first place? These are not good faith actors, and they are not operating with honesty. Jamie Raskin drove that point home perfectly as he pressed Kash Patel with tough questions.
Stop that. I'm not blaming anybody other than you. You're not keeping your word. You said that you would release all of the materials under your direct control.
Has anyone released more information on Epstein than I have? Has anyone?
Much more.
Did Comey? Did Ray?
Much more. Excuse me. Much more has come out in the days since the American people in Congress have been demanding it, but it's coming out in dribs and drabs. Why don't you just release the entire file as you promised to do?
I literally just told you, there are multiple federal court orders. I'm not going to break the law to satisfy your curiosity. You didn't join us when we filed court to release the court orders. You could have. You have lawyers. You could have shown up. You didn't do that.
That's a tiny fraction of the material we're talking about.
That is
not. It is a tiny fraction.
How do you know that? Have you seen everything?
It's all misdirection.
How do you know
The time of the gentleman has expired. The gentleman from California is recognized.
Well, thank you.
Everything we're seeing from this administration is, at its core, a distraction or a stunt. Yes, Donald Trump's push into Washington is part of his effort to expand power and strengthen his authoritarian project, but let's be clear, it has nothing to do with keeping people safe. It's about intimidation and control. And in the same way, every move Kash Patel claims is new transparency on the Epstein files is nothing more than political theater. They don't actually care about transparency or accountability. What they care about is shaping public perception. And that backfired badly when Eric Swallwell confronted Patel with tough questions right here.
I appreciate the director reviewing the files. You said you don't know the number of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not released anyone's name that we have not released anyone's name in the Epstein files that has not been credible.
Director, could it at least be 1,000 times?
We have released every piece of legally permissible information.
Okay,
you can characterize the numbers however you want it.
You're claiming my time, Director. It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times.
It's not. It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No.
Is it at least 100 times?
No.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number, but it's not that.
Do you think it might be your job to know the number?
My job is to provide for the safety and security of this country. My job is not to engage in political innuendo so you can go out to the sticks and get your 20-second hit in your fundraising article.
My time, Director.
Keep going, reclaiming your time, because the people of California are being underserved by your representation.
If the president is not implicated, why not release everything that involves him?
We have released everything, the president and anyone else's side, that is credible and lawfully be able to be released. Your fixation on this matter and baseless accusations that I'm hiding child pedophiles is disgusting. Anyone that says that needs to look at the stats alone and go back to the state of California, who's receiving the biggest surge in FBI resources through my redeployment because the cities of Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco need it.
Director, remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you ever tell...
He simply couldn't give an answer, not because he didn't understand the question, and not because he hasn't seen the Epstein files. Even though just yesterday, Kash Patel claimed he wasn't very familiar with the details in the documentation, this is the same person who once promised he would fully review the material and make it public. Yet now, it seems like the urgency has completely disappeared. And that became even more clear when Congressman Dan Goldman pressed him further on the Epstein files. Patel just couldn't respond.
Does Donald Trump appear anywhere in the Epstein files?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
It's not a complicated question. Does Donald Trump appear anywhere in the Epstein files?
I didn't say it was a complicated question. I just didn't hear you, so my apologies. We have released where President Trump's name's in the Epstein files and everybody else, and all credible information that we are legally allowed to release has been released.
All right, so let's go through that. You're referring to court orders that prohibit you from releasing grand jury testimony under Rule 6E. Is that what you're referring to when you say as the law allows?
That's a piece of it.
Really? What other evidence do those three court orders you cited prohibit from being released?
Information that was collected pursuant to those search warrants that were limited in fashion.
Wrong. That's not what the court order says, and that's not under 6E.
And you're talking, and I said that's 6E, and I said there was others, and I'm answering that there are sealed court order documents. There are protective orders.
They are unsealed as part of discovery given to Ghislaine Maxwell. They are no longer sealed.
That's just not true. We can argue about it all you want.
Okay, well, you agree that there are, so your testimony here is that the reason why you are not releasing all of the videos that you have acknowledged, there are so many, and that the FBI spent thousands of hours of reviewing, the photographs, all of the photographs that you have. You're saying that you're not releasing those because there's a court order requiring them to be sealed? Is that your testimony?
Never said that about the videos.
This is not an honest broker, and it is certainly not the behavior of a serious leader. Kash Patel has become a political liability. Just yesterday, When Donald Trump was asked whether he still has confidence in Patel, his response was vague. I support everyone in my administration. I think the FBI is doing great. Notice, he never actually said Patel's name, and that tells us something. It suggests Patel's role might be in jeopardy. Time and again, Patel has shown that this administration has little interest in real accountability or solutions. No changes, no critiques, no acknowledgement of investigative failures, and no meaningful response to the tragedy surrounding the Charlie Kirk shooting. Instead of reflecting on what could have been done differently to prevent future violence, this has all become a political performance. Reports even suggest that Patel spent extra days traveling and socializing in places like New York, Las Vegas, and beyond, more focused on appearances than responsibility. And this isn't about Democrats versus Republicans. This is about accountability across the board. Even Congressman Thomas Massie, a Republican, made that point very clear right here.
We know these people exist in the FBI files, the files that you control. I don't know exactly who they are, but the FBI does. Have you launched any investigations into any of these people, and have you seen these 302 documents?
Sir, I have asked my FBI agents to review the entirety of the Epstein files and bring forth any credible information, and we're working with Congress not only to divulge that information and produce it to you, but any investigations that arise from any credible investigation will be brought. There have been no new materials brought to me launching a new indictment.
So is the loophole here, or is it your assertion that these victims aren't credible, that the 302s maybe didn't produce credible statements that rise to a probable cause?
It has been one embarrassment after another from this FBI leadership, and it's deeply concerning how unsafe the country feels with someone like Kash Patel in such a position of responsibility. The truth is, there's a clear lack of leadership. He often appears unprepared, uncertain, and unable to take control when it matters most. Take, for example, his first press conference in Utah following the tragic Charlie Kirk shooting. Patel looked overwhelmed, unable to project calm or confidence. He didn't even step up to speak at the first hearing after the incident, an absence that says a lot about the leadership vacuum we are witnessing. This is the reality we are facing, and anyone unwilling to acknowledge these failures is not engaging seriously with the facts. We shouldn't be lectured by people trying to defend this because the consequences are too real. Just listen again to how Patel struggles when asked basic questions about something he claimed he cared so deeply about.
And I want to understand what the court order prevents you from releasing witness statements that the FBI took.
You should know that as a real prosecutor, when the court hand downs a protective order and a motion to seal, the material is sealed unless
So
that
your
judge
testimony
waives
here
it.
is that all of those witness statements are under a court order, a protective order.
We are providing everything we can legally provide.
Now, that's not my question. My question is, why are those witness statements that are not grand jury testimony, that if they were under a protective order are no longer under a protective order, why are they not being released?
How are they not under a protective
Why
order?
are you not going to the court like you did for the grand jury testimony to unseal those records?
The DOJ did go to the court.
No, not on those records. Why aren't you going? You just went on grand jury.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
You are hiding the Epstein files, Mr.
Time of the gentleman
Patel.
has expired.
You are part of the cover-up.
Can I respond?
Sure can.
Any allegations that I'm a part of a cover-up to protect child sexual trafficking and victims of human trafficking and sexual crimes is patently and categorically false in the work of my
So I hope you will talk to them when they have
Gentleman's time has expired.
requested to speak with you. Because the
Gentleman's time has
victims have
expired. Gentleman
requested
yields
and you are
back.
not responding to them.
This has been the consistent approach from the administration. Deny, deny, deny. But denial doesn't erase the truth. You can't cover this up and you can't hide from it. In fact, every attempt to bury it has only drawn more attention. So it doesn't matter that Donald Trump is overseas or trying to avoid the issue, it's not going away. People are going to keep talking about it, and so will we. This is the story, and it needs to be told. If you'd like to support our work in bringing you this coverage, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around until the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.